Hey guys, it's Robin here. Thanks for joining me for your daily tarot card reading. This is going to be for Thursday, March 10th, and I'm using a card from the Butterfly Oracle. So I already pulled the card and I opened the book. This is called Grief Work, okay? So kind of a coincidence that I was talking about inner child coming up. Can you guys see the card? You know, because a lot of our inner children are like grieving, okay? Because maybe they went through really not the best circumstances or whatever. But I find this card is very timely, always, because there is always grief work to be done. And a lot of us can't face it. And it kind of came up in the reading on Monday as well. So this could be a really good week to finally come to terms with things that are heavy on your heart, okay? So this card signals that your heart needs some healing from one or more losses, okay? There's grief work to be done as a way of moving forward with your life. Already you can think of how this specifically applies to you. Probably some particular situation popped up in your head and you were like, felt gutted for a minute, but I think that so many of us just look for a distraction instead of dealing with that head on. So, you know, you got to really honor that and just like, okay, well, this is coming up. It's kept coming up. It's still making me cry. I need to sit in it for a minute so it actually heals instead of coming back around and knocking me over again. Okay. So, unhealed grief is compounded by each subsequent loss. And that's such a deep statement, you know, because it just keeps on piling on top and on top and on top. So, although it's uncomfortable to mourn and cry, I mean, I never have that problem because I have Irish heritage and we love a good cry. Sometimes that's the only path to healing. That's why it's best to heal with an experienced grief counselor, grief support group, or trauma-trained therapist. Okay, so this is probably not going to apply to everybody, but I mean, how many of us, like when we have an experience that we feel the tears coming up, we choke it down? You know, it just, you don't want to feel weak or whatever. You don't want to cry in front of someone else. Okay, so that's something that you just need to not care about anymore, who thinks what about your grief. And if you need to get out of wherever you are so you can go have a cry, don't worry about it. You know, I've had several experiences where I've cried in my car driving home. When I was in a long distance relationship for 8 years, I would cry all the way back home on the 4-hour flight, and everyone was like, oh, here's this blonde chick again. Oh my goodness. So they were probably relieved when we broke up. But anyway, loss is one of the most painful processes of change, yet it can also help us develop compassion and more appreciation for life. Okay, so additional meanings for the card: changes that feel like a loss, a calling to be a grief counselor, which could be very cool. I mean, just to be helping people, performing a eulogy, tough one, or comforting a grief-stricken friend. Okay, so comforting a grief-stricken friend, that can be a total challenge all on its own. So just some advice on that one is you don't have to say anything to somebody to be a comfort. Some people like to just sit in silence or go show up in somebody's house and that is experiencing a loss and maybe they're extremely sad. You can go clean for them. You can go cook for them. You take care of their kids or walk their dog. You know, it's not always an active, hold on. Like I was saying, it's not always like you don't have to be an active grief counselor. You just have to show up and be there, okay? Even if it's sitting in silence, staring at a blank screen and just letting that person feel your love, okay? So this is a very complex card and something that we just have to give ourselves permission to have those ugly cries and, you know, be able to break down without allowing other people to judge us or judging ourselves. You know, it's okay. It's okay to express grief. And like it was saying in the book, if you don't deal with it and then you have another loss, then you're just stacking all these losses on top of yourself. And that's when people really break down. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go. Take care. Bye.